I don't want to go without saying that. I think he has that dog in him. He has that fight. Similar to how I believe actually you were talking about Corral last year and how you liked
Yeah.
Corral and his fight. I think Hooker has a part of
Still
that
do love
too.
Corral, by the way. Just
Oh
so
yeah,
everybody knows. Just so everybody
yeah,
knows. But I'd rather have two good quarterbacks than no good quarterbacks. So
yeah. I
that's why
don't
I'm pro
think
quarterback.
I saw you tweet that earlier and I was like, that's a perfect way to put it. It's like it's not a bad thing to have two good options, you
Yeah.
know?
Well, worst case scenario, you're trading one of those quarterbacks and you're getting a second round pick. I mean,
Exactly. Yeah.
is that the worst thing, guys? And I just Googled it. ESPN 49640.
Wow.
So we'll see what he does here at the combine.
I'm honestly shocked.
He can
Wow.
boost those numbers, I guess.
Yeah, I hope so, because that is shocking to me. Wow.
That's
But
almost offensive lineman slow.
yeah. I mean, most of the defensive linemen ran faster than that today. It
Yeah.
seems like. So yeah.
And the ones who didn't probably won't be getting a call until
Yeah,
at least
probably.
day 3.
But yeah, I don't know. I like Hendon Hooker. He has the inconsistency problems. The same with Stroud and Levis and Richardson. Um, but he's got. I don't know. I don't know what it is. Maybe I just got a little bit of a crush on him from his tape.
Hey, you're not the
But,
only one. A lot of people do. And I've tried to fight that because it's easy to fall in love with the guy. I totally get it. But
for every
you're
bad
talking
throw,
about a fifth-year senior. I don't know how old he is, 24, 25. Well, probably not
he's
25,
up
but
there.
20, 23, 24.
23, 24, yeah.
He's getting up there in age. You give him 3 years to develop in the NFL, which is probably what he's going to need. He's already 26 years old. By the time he gets into his second contract, he's 31. The time he's done with his second contract, he's 31. So, I mean, I get why people like him, but I just feel like that offense was so good that it was hard for a quarterback to not look good in it.
Jalen
Hyatt was running past everybody for 10 games straight, and he was just flinging it downfield.
Jalen Hyatt
very,
looks
very
like
Will
Jackson,
Greer style, flinging it, I might add.
Okay.
I'm trying to convince some people. We'll see.
I don't know.
We'll see. To me, I feel like it's hard to not look good in that offense. I feel like most of the time when he was throwing, same thing we just talked about, there was a certain lack of anticipation. Guys are running wide open. He's waiting till he sees them wide open to release the ball. It's a lot of vertical concepts. Guys are just one-on-one with corners.
Yeah.
I don't know. I could be way off. I could totally see him being, Dak Prescott, a type of player, but anyway,
I'd argue
interrupt you so much.
Oh no, you're fine. I'd argue Hooker when his deep balls are pretty, they're the prettiest in this draft, and when they're ugly, they're the ugliest in this draft.
And what quarterback does that remind you of from the 2019 draft class?
Hey, I don't think Wilker ever had pretty deep balls personally. I never liked him, but
me either.
I don't know. I give him the Geno look because, like you mentioned, he's 23, 24. He's gonna need time to progress. I mean, it's almost like he needs a Jimmy Garoppolo situation to succeed, which is unreasonable.
There's a situation he could succeed in because anyone can succeed in that situation. So,
right,
I can totally see him being like early second round pick to what we were just talking about, to the Lions. I think I think that'd be a great fit for him.
I like the Saints for him as well.
Play behind Jared Goff for a little while, step in, deal the ball around a good offense for a while. Saints, I guess I could see that as well.
I think Hendon Hooker will thrive the best when an offense is made so he doesn't have to make decisions, which sounds really, really mean. But he has that potential. He just crumbles under pressure. He doesn't have consistency. And when you give him situations I mentioned the Saints. I still think the Saints offense, although it's kind of falling apart, but what it used to be. So maybe at this point, more of the Broncos, but that style of the Sean Payton-esque offense, more of a game manager. You have options downfield, but it's a lot of just running back opportunities, screens, slants, curls, outs, a lot of 10 to 15 yards, and it's designed to have one guy open on a route. I think he can do really well in that. And granted, that does feel like you're kind of holding the baby's hand and walking him through. It's kind of like the whole argument with the San Francisco. Anybody can do well in that offense. Yeah. But I think Hooker can do it at an NFL level, which a lot of these quarterbacks coming out, I don't think can. So I think he's –
I totally see a reality where he's a fine NFL quarterback, but I just feel like it's more likely that it's not going to work. And, we just talked about almost a 5-second 40, and he's seen as a running quarterback by a lot of people.
Yeah. I look at him that way to an extent.
I think there's major question marks as to whether or not he can read a defense and complete passes at a high level in the middle of the field, because I just don't feel like he ever had to really do that in college. At Tennessee. And then you're talking about as a fifth-year starter. So it took him that long to really register on anyone's radar. Usually when that happens, there's a reason that happened, because it took him that long to master what they were doing at the college level. And I know he transferred. I think he was another West Virginia quarterback, right? At one point. I could be wrong.
I don't remember where he came from, but I know he transferred.
Yeah. So, who knows? But from people I talk to, I'm a lot lower on him than anyone else seems to be. But again, that's just me. And I also might just see him in a negative light for this reason. I remember back in October when Tennessee was playing Alabama, I was having to explain to people that Bryce Young was the better quarterback. And that was really pissing me off.
That's wild. That is wild.
That was really annoying me, that there were literally people arguing with me, telling me that he was better than Bryce Young. And I was like, you guys are so wrong right now. Please stop. So that might just be a reason I see him negatively, because from that point on, I was just like, how can you think he's better than Bryce Young? But, I totally get it. And I do like him actually as a player. And he seems like a great person. Like you said, good leader.
Yeah.
Competitive guy.
Infectious person.
I just have questions, especially for a team like the Panthers who needs a starting quarterback. I just don't think that that's a wise move. If he's going to go somewhere and develop into a good backup, or develop for a couple of years and then be a starter in 2025, 2026, I could totally see that happening. But if we're talking about specifically our team, I would not feel very confident about him coming in and competing. He would be competing for the starting role with Matt Corral. And at that point, I would probably rather have Matt Corral win the job.
I don't know. I want to see more of Corral, but like I said, I'm probably a little bit higher on Hendon Hooker. And I don't look at him as –
You were low on Corral last year, if I remember correctly, right?
Yeah. I called Corral a souped-up Marcus Mariota.
Hey, man, Marcus Mariota's had a fine NFL career. I mean, it hasn't been great, but he's still around. He's still around. He's still around until week 16, and they tell him to go home because he's crying about getting benched. But,
I don't know. I'm probably a little down on Corral and a little up on Hooker, but at the same time, I don't want him to be our answer. We're in a bad spot. If we stay at 9 and we're in a situation where even Levis is off the board, I say we either trade down, or I really like Bijan Robinson. And I know that's a little rich to take a running back that high, especially after the running back we just took really high, we shipped off.
Hey, I love him too, but I'd feel pretty deflated if we walked out of this draft without feeling good about the quarterback we drafted. So I would not be mad if we didn't. I mean, I wouldn't be mad if we drafted Bijan Robinson. I think he's going to be an incredible player. And I think he would absolutely feast behind our offensive line.
Oh, my God.
But
Icky and Christensen.
I'm telling
and
you,
you see Bijan coming around the corner.
That would be absolutely beautiful. But that would mean probably taking a Hendon Hooker in the second round.
Yeah.
So, and again, don't hate Hendon Hooker. But out of the guys in this draft class, I'm the lowest. He's the lowest on my totem pole in that top 5 group. I couldn't tell you after that.
Me too.
All right. Well, hey, I haven't personally looked too much at McKee from Stanford. Tanner, what's his first name?
Tanner
McKee. I haven't personally looked at him much because, frankly, if it's not one of those top 4 guys, I don't really want you.
Right.
But what do you see? What do you see from old Tanner McKee?
I looked at Tanner McKee a little bit. I did not do a lot. I'm sure he'll be a fine backup. Maybe. I don't like him at all. There are other quarterbacks I still need to look at. There's the kid from Purdue, Jack Heener.
Purdue.
It's O'Donnell, something
right.
like that. Yeah. Right. I want to look at them first, but the same massive gap I see between Richardson to Levis, I see that between Hooker and McKee.
Absolutely. And that's kind of when you get into that. I mean, to me, you look at Hooker and, maybe McKee, that's like the bottom of tier 2. And then after that, you get into tier 3 with these quarterbacks. And then those are going to be, maybe 3rd round, probably 4th round and on guys.